Good evening, Gavin.
Good evening, TC, and welcome to our weekly podcast, The Curran View, with the Isle of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. And if you're listening free to the first half on either Acast or Spotify, you can follow the links on our socials and access the full podcast via either Apple or become a Patreon, all the w's.patreon.com/SRBmedia, or follow the podcast on Twitter at Curran View, or on Facebook, The Curran View, or join the group, which is over 3,000 strong now. Thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. Steady away, mate. How are you?
I'm okay. Just getting over a bit of a cold, so feeling a little bit better.
Yep, you're sounding a little bit distant. Where are you? You down a cellar?
No, I'm in the kitchen.
Okay.
I've got it closer to me. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, when it's right close to your ear and your mouth, TC, it works a lot better. What's worked a lot better this week, because it has been 2 weeks that we have had off, are the magic moments. And what have you sourced for us? Because I've got some from probably a couple of weeks ago, and I've got probably the same couple that you've got from this week.
Well, there's more than a couple, Gabby. I mean,
Yeah.
picking some out, it's unbelievable. But as you know, I only like to go for one anyway, mate.
Yeah.
And I put two up today, looking at the, pick which one you like. I mean, the callback goal, it caught it absolutely sublime. And like one or two people wrote on post, it was a cross come shot type of thing. And I agree with him, because he's cut it on the outside of his foot.
Yeah.
But he's cut it perfect with the goalkeeper's no chance. But I'm going, not because he's Sheffield Wednesday, I'm going for Bannon's, because it saw everything about it. That goal what Colbeck scores, listen, I would like to score it. Any great player would like to score it. But it could go anywhere, as you know. And it's gone in. But I'm going for my magic moment is Barry Bannon's, because he's seen it, he's looked up, he's seen the keeper off the line, he's hit it early, and by what a great goal and a fabulous celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on, TC. And I remember watching the game, and it is all about reaction, isn't it? And when Barry scored that goal, we were watching the game. I mean, blimey, Wednesday went balmy, didn't they? It was a proper goal fest. And the ball that just dropped, and Barry Bannon's hit it, because, I mean, Tom being a season ticket holder at Villa, watched Barry Bannon for many seasons at Villa Park, and so you know that you still look at your old players, and the ball's dropped, and Barry's hit it with that left foot. You go, get in there, my son! What a strike! Superb,
unbelievable, absolutely sublime. Any footballer would have been proud of it. You know, as there is many great goals throughout the season in all four divisions.
Yeah.
You know, but I've told people long enough that the thing about football, if you're successful in any league, it brings out the fans, because they want to see a winning team, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They don't want to see a team what just sat there going to get beat week in and week out. Don't even try and win a football match.
Mm.
You know, so I'm not happy about him being in the Championship 1, but that's where they are. And if it brings out the best in our fans, then so be it. But it proves once again that they do come out in numbers once we have some success.
How fantastic do the Sheffield Wednesday supporters look? I mean, they took so many there to MK. What was it, 5,000 or 6,000 behind that goal? It looked absolutely magnificent. And you're right, TC, they're a huge club, Sheffield Wednesday. I know no one's got a divine right to play in the top flight, but Wednesday are a team that really belongs there.
You know, I mean, the experts put huge clubs as all these people what's winning major trophies.
Mm.
Well, no, that's teams what's winning major trophies, because they have the best. They have the best players. But that doesn't stop a football club being a huge football club, and they are a huge football club. We used to take 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people and 10,000 people away when I was playing 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Mm.
You know, down to Exeter, down to Swindon, and Colchester, and all these type of grounds. It's a massive club with a massive fan base. What wants to see the team win, and they're no different than anyone else. Now Chelsea, Manchester City, your Liverpool's, your Man United's, their success, and Tottenham's, and not as much Tottenham when you look at the other club for winning trophies. But they buy elite players.
Yeah.
and it gives them that better chance to go on to win major trophies. And then, they're in the record books for every day more. But no one can take away from Sheffield Wednesday fans, never mind anyone else, that they have a massive fan base.
Absolutely. Fantastic fan base, fantastic club. And I did say to Tom while we were watching the game, you could argue that Sheffield Wednesday are the biggest club in Yorkshire. Because I know Leeds United, they won lots of things. And for me, Leeds United, for that period of time when I was a kid, they're the greatest team that I've ever seen play football. I think they had absolutely everything. And I've just done a podcast with the great Johnny Giles, and it was a fantastic hour and a half that I spent with Johnny, walking down memory lane and remembering those halcyon days of Leeds United. And Huddersfield with Herbert Chapman won so many trophies. But Sheffield Wednesday really are up there. And I think if you're looking at fan base, you're looking at what trophies they've won, and I look at football from the beginning of time to now, not just a little period of time. I think you could argue Wednesday are the biggest club in Yorkshire.
I give everyone my fair honest opinion of everything, and that Leeds United team were the best British team I'd seen play football. Come close to someone like the Manchester City of today. They were that good on the ball, keeping the ball on horrible pitches, whereas these City players have an advantage of everything what's in their favour. Football strips are lighter for them. The balls are lighter for them. The pitches are perfect. Now, what Sheffield Wednesday's got, right? They've got two teams in City, but so have Manchester City and Manchester United and Liverpool and Everton. Leeds are a one City team, and it's a massive city.
Yeah, it is. It's the third biggest, in terms of population, behind London, then Birmingham.
Yeah, for me, it should have 50, 60,000 there, week in and week out. 100%. Now, I don't know whether that's now because of the ground capacity, whether they would get that or not, but like else, they would get it if they started spending big money and started winning major trophies, because, like you say, it's a massive club. There's two teams in Sheffield, and Sheffield United pulled in 30,000 on a regular basis. Sheffield Wednesday will definitely pull 45,000 on a regular basis. But push Sheffield Wednesday doing what Manchester City does, and I'll guarantee you 60, 70,000 people. Yeah. And I'm not just saying that. That'll be a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in Birmingham, it's very similar. We've got 2/3 clubs because
you've more than that, really, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, actually, in Birmingham, when you're looking at the boundaries of Birmingham, West Bromwich Albion actually are in Birmingham because of the top of the Soho Road, the Birmingham Road. So Handsworth's in Birmingham, and West Bromwich is over the other side of the motorway. Then you're in Sandwell, and it is a border club. But you got the Baggies. If they were successful, they'd be getting 30,000. Birmingham, if they're successful, getting 30,000, and Villa. Well, I mean, Villa are going to be building on that ground at Villa Park. And if Villa were successful, the sky's the limit because Villa are an absolutely massive. Birmingham are a big club. The Albion are a big club. Yeah. But Villa are a different level to both Birmingham and the Albion. And, you're looking at 100,000 in this city watching football.
Not a lot of people, not a lot of Villa fans will realise this. They held the record in the third division over 46,000 people. Yeah. Right? When they were in the third division, I mean, we broke it, but ours was a derby.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not quite sure whether, was it against Bournemouth?
Bournemouth,
well, there you go. Bournemouth, and no respect to Bournemouth, especially in those days, they'll have fetched about 500 people.
Yeah. Ted McDougall scored that diving header, if you remember. It was an iconic goal from Ted.
But it is a long time ago. But what I'm trying to say is 46,000 people there that day. I don't forget those type of things. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say about all this is Villa's a massive club. Sheffield Wednesday's a massive club. The two teams in Liverpool are massive clubs. Yeah. The two teams in Manchester are massive clubs. But what I will say, I had great admiration for the Celtic and Rangers game the other day when they came out. The atmosphere in that game was absolutely electric.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you saw it. I'm not saying it was a spectacular game, but the atmosphere with the two sets of fans, and there's nothing the better, is there, when you see that type of thing in a football match.
absolutely. What's been happening with the local derbies, the Glasgow Derby, home and away at Ibrox or Celtic Park, Parkhead, is that there's been a ban on away support. I did notice there were some Celtic fans at Ibrox for the recent derby. And that was great to see. I didn't see the game the weekend. It was cup semi-final, wasn't it? So they have to have equal support for both clubs in an FA, well, Scottish FA Cup
Was it
game.
neutral ground for a
Yeah,
start?
absolutely, TC. But you're right. I mean, that Glasgow derby, and again, I said to Tom while we was watching it, it's the biggest derby in Britain. Celtic
Yeah.
and Rangers. We've got
If you,
lots of derbies up and down the country that are big and they're special to all teams. I remember Keith Birchin when he played in an East Anglia derby and a Birmingham derby, and he said, I went out on the pitch and I come back. He said they were fighting, and he said, I come back in. I said, they're taking a bit serious up here, don't they, in Birmingham? And they do, and all derbies are. But I do think that the Glasgow derby
if
is
you
the
if you
biggest.
didn't if you didn't see it, try and get a chance to have a look at where they come out.
Yeah,
Though,
will do. I just think they're
don't bet,
magnificent clubs.
both sets of teams coming out,
Yeah,
and the atmosphere in the ground. Whether I'm more Celtic up in Scotland
yeah.
than I am Rangers,
Hmm.
but I've got to give credit to both sets of fans. It's as good as a football game when you see that type of thing.
Oh, absolutely, TC. And I'm like you. If I was to pick one, Celtic or Rangers, I'd pick Celtic, and that's only because growing up, I'd seen the likes of Kenny Dalglish and Jimmy Johnston, and didn't really too young to remember the Lisbon Lions, or I've seen it, on videos, etc. But that
Well, I
great
saw
South,
it, so
yeah,
I was about 11, 12.
yeah. So I would always, lean more towards Celtic than Rangers, but they're both great clubs, and if they were in the Premier League or in a bigger pond, then they could be as big as what they would want to be. But being in Scotland and in that Scottish Premier League and the way that the finances are, they can't be as big
That's
as
all it
what
is,
they want to be.
finances.
Absolutely,
That's all
TC.
it is finances. You put
Absolutely,
those two teams, in the Premier League,
100%.
regardless what people said they struggle.
Yeah,
No, they won't, because there'd be loads of football players want to go to Celtic or Rangers because the atmosphere they
yeah.
generate.
Absolutely. It's about levels, and it's about ponds and lakes and oceans, and at the moment
And
they're in a little
being
pond and
honest,
not in
just
an
because
ocean. Yeah,
if I supported Bury
yeah,
Bury Football Club, I'd be honest about it. Bolton are a bigger club than what we are in Manchester. Man United are a bigger club than what Bolton is
yeah,
in Manchester. And in Lancashire. Just be honest with it. I, I do. I want my team, Sheffield Wednesday, to play in the Premier League. I want us to win the
absolutely.
league. I want us to win the FA Cup. I want us to to win everything. But I know it's not realistic because we don't have the money to buy those players.
Absolutely, TC. Jack Colback's goal, you're right. I was watching the game last night. Um, I thought that Forest set out again on the front foot. Massive fan of Steve Cooper. I really hope that Nottingham Forest get promoted. I'd love to watch Forest play this season. In fact, Forest probably are my favourite team to watch this season, and not just what they're producing on the pitch, but Stevie Cooper, the manager. I think the fans have been magnificent, and my player of the season would be, and again, a player that I've enjoyed watching this season is Brennan Johnson. I think the
Yeah.
kid is absolutely class. I think he's so composed. My magic moment is the penalty. And people say, well, how can a magic moment be a penalty? Well, when they had that penalty last night, that goalkeeper was giving him absolute dogs and trying to get inside his head. And when Johnson took the ball away, he pointed down to the goalkeeper. He gave him a volley of abuse, which I thought was absolutely first class, and just showed great composure for a young player. And I
Kid,
think
yeah.
that whenever I've seen him play, he's a player that I want to watch again and I think he's an absolute talent. And also, what I did pick up last night from Forest is the City ground. There were so many flies caught on camera, and Brennan was knocking them away from his face at one point, and I'm thinking, has the City ground got a problem with flies at certain times of the year? Because it's very close to the Trent, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I never noticed it when I played there.
Right.
But going back to what I think it's like anything else. When I put the washing out, you get those little black flies, don't you?
Yeah.
And you think, where they all come from, these? But
Yeah.
as soon as you get a bit of warm weather, they all come out. But the ground itself is rocking.
Yeah,
it's
fantastic.
Absolutely rocking. And they're playing a part. They're playing a part in it. The football that they have, what the team's playing, the atmosphere that what the managers brought to the football club with the fans and the players together.
Yeah.
And I see loads of Forest fans on my website. Some of the best football we're playing. Great to go and watch play football like that again. Well, not all teams can win.
Yeah.
Not all teams can win. Try and win a football match.
Yeah.
That's all I would say as a fan, as a manager. I would say to my players, if you want to be successful, we have to win these games.
Yeah.
Now, how do we win it? We score more goals than what the opposition do, and we concede less. How do we do that? We play with the tempo. We take risks in certain areas of the football pitch, right? And we don't take risks in other areas of the football pitch. And we be aware of when we haven't got the ball, even when we've got the ball, as much as when we haven't got the ball, because anything can break down in a split second and catch you off it. And it's about getting the right balanced team together, putting the right balanced team on a football pitch together, what's going to fight for each other. It doesn't make any difference what you do afterwards, but it's when you're on that football field or when you spend that time together that, you all get on and you fight for each other. And Forest have done that, and I don't like to shout off about it, but I did say this about 3 or 4 years ago about him. He's still not won anything yet, and he's missed out twice on 2 playoffs at Swansea. But the kid's got something about him what's going to generate quality football.
Absolutely, and he's so connected with. You can see the players
connected with the fans. That's a great word.
Yeah,
everything.
And when he goes to, way, and you can hear it's brilliant. It's just, I've not seen that connection with the manager and the club, the fans, the players. It really looks like a united club, Nottingham Forest does.
And every time we mention this kid, I'll keep going back and I'll give you another one. The kid at Preston, Lowe, will be as good.
Yeah.
Will be as good.
Absolutely.
Because I like to watch his teams play football.
Absolutely, TC. Liverpool versus Manchester City. You've just alluded to playing football in the right areas, and there's times not to. Liverpool's second goal was an absolute nightmare, wasn't it? What's the goalkeeper thinking of?
Gabby, the thing about any football match, regardless of what anybody thinks, mistakes cost football teams to lose games. Mistakes.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with playing out from the back. Because the thing about playing out from the back is this. Have you got players what can play out from the back? That's first thing.
Yeah.
Right? What's the composure like?
Yeah.
That's second thing. Now, the ball's played to the keeper. What's the keeper doing? It's dwelling,
Absolutely.
gets closed down, and it costs you a goal.
Yeah.
He should have 3 options. He definitely should have had 3 options. And out of those 3 options, one of them is just to boot it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? But when that ball's played to him, he should be knowing that I can play that ball with pace and with a tempo to someone else. But he didn't do that.
No.
So what happens, because we're a nervous type of supporter in this country, you watch teams, especially coming towards the end of the season, the cameras are on the fans biting the nails, and it shows the nervousness of people. It's not playing out from the back, but I understand why fans get angry with it, because it's cost them a game, right? But at the end of the day, you've got to have players what can do it, and don't do it if you haven't got players what can't do it. Now, this kid is playing in the semi-final of an FA Cup against one of the biggest teams, not in Britain, in England or Britain, in Europe.
Yeah, the world.
Liverpool, with a massive fan base, right? What do you think the first thing Klopp would have said to those players?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You keep into team. You know he's going to play out from the back.
Yeah.
He just might dwell on it once too often. We must press him quickly and early. And that's what's happened. It has nothing to do with playing out from that. It's mistakes.
Oh,
That's all it is. It's mistakes.
Yeah. Decisions, and as you said earlier, it's about making the right decisions at the right time. Again, it's the philosophy of City. Doesn't matter who comes into the Manchester City team, they play in the same way. Players coming into Manchester City team.
Can I just say this one thing?
Yeah.
I love Guardiola though.
Yeah, man.
Because he knows even next game he's got a chance because he's got the quality of players, to turn it around. But when they ask him, we got beat and that's it.
Yeah.
But I won't be changing my way. And he won't change his way because he's got quality.
Exactly, and he shouldn't.
He's got quality for next game to put it right.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're absolutely right. So that's the way he plays. And, Wayne Rooney, Derby County got relegated, sadly. I was hoping that they were going to stay up. But again, Wayne has a way of playing. And I enjoy watching teams playing out from the back. But it's, again, decision making. There's a time that you can do it and a time that you've got to. Yeah, absolutely.
They've had one marvellous season. And who's to say they might not finish in the playoffs if they wouldn't have had any points taken off them? I know people are going to turn around and say, well, how can you say that? Because it's got to have affected them with certain games when they had points deducted straight away.
100%.
And then players lost. If they could have had no points knocked off them and might been able to bring in some bit better quality, who's to say they might not go into playoffs? I'm not saying they have. It's opinions. I look and try to judge what I think a manager, a team, a player is capable of doing. Have people laugh? Do you think I'm bothered about if anybody laughs at me, Gabby? Do you?
No, not at all. And I find that interesting what you just said.
I could play in front of 100,000 fans, booing me, and I'll still pick up the ball. Because that's happened when I played in front of 50,000 fans. Yeah. Right? Now, Rooney has got the balls to manage Manchester United.
Yeah.
But people think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy one little bit. Look beyond experience. Look beyond it.
I found what you just said interesting because when I'd done the interview with Johnny Giles and we were talking about Peter Beardsley and he told me that, he went to watch him. Peter Lorimer had said, look, I've seen a kid and he looks all right. And then they were having a Vancouver Whitecaps had got a session in London and they noticed that Brentford were playing Carlisle and Peter Lorimer said, should we go and have a look at Peter Beardsley? Or John said to Peter, yeah, we'll go and have a look. And John said it wasn't what I actually saw in him that day, but it was what he was trying to do. And if he was playing with better players, he was making the right decisions, but it just wasn't quite happening because the players around him wasn't as good as him. So yeah, absolutely. So he said, I look at what a player is trying to do. I thought absolutely spot on. And that's how good judges of players and former players, how they look at the player. Not exactly what he's doing, but what he's capable of doing.
The question about all this lot is this: why do so many top players fail in management?
Don't know. Probably wrong club. Probably wrong club. Not enough backing, TC. I don't know.
But I look at the players. They're trying to play football out from the back with the players they can't do it, and then they revert back to another way. With those same players are not even good at that way of playing football, the long ball. I mean, when I see these top players. Look, regardless what anybody says about Gary Neville, hate him, loathe him, love him, like him, admire him, adore him.
Yeah.
Right? He speaks well. He's won everything in the game. But he made the biggest cock-up you'll ever see at Valencia.
Yeah.
And he'll admit that.
Mm.
I wouldn't admit that. I said, look, I've made a mistake. I'm going back out there. I'm going to face the crowd again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it better. And I would have thought he would have failed. He would have failed in management, and he has.
I think if he hadn't got that Sky TV to fall back on, because that's a nice little gig to do, and he hasn't got that going into football management. I don't need to do that because I'm already doing something else. It'd be interesting if Gary Neville hadn't got the Sky contract. Falling off that horse at Valencia, would he have liked to have jumped back on it? Because
no, and I'll tell you the reason why.
Yeah.
If you look at Sky, he trimmed back on Sky. To what he used to do.
Yeah.
He's got outside interests. He owns as much building in Manchester as anybody else.
Mm.
He's got parts of shares in Salford Football Club.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of other interests. He's got his interest in other things without having. Because the hardest thing about football, we know that being a manager is facing the music after the defeat, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you can also, next game, if you don't have to face the media, it's not as bad. Because they ask you awkward questions. Sometimes it's silly questions.
Mm.
In whatever way you answer that person, right? You've got 3-4 people in the studio, all going to either criticise him or kid him on. Well, he's doing an half decent job, so and so. He don't have the money. You've got to look beyond it. And I wrote a bit about Dyche this week. I keep trying to tell people, Dyche has no chance of getting a top 12 club.
No chance.
Because he's got to change. He's done a marvellous job at Burnley. A completely brilliant job.
Yeah.
But what's he gonna leave legacy wise? All he's going to leave is that he kept him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's done brilliant, so he's got that.
Yeah.
But what philosophy has he left?
He hasn't. I mean,
hasn't.
Burnley
so
and a team
for
I'd
him to
turn
get
off.
an Aston Villa job,
got no chance.
There's no chance. Right? No chance. There's no chance.
I think he's going to be hard pushed to get a Premier League side.
And I hope people don't think that I'm being horrible, because I'm trying to be honest.
No, I don't.
I'm not saying you, but fans will look at it and say, I'm not. I can see what he's done. He's done a great job.
Absolutely.
Pound for pound, it's 17,000 people, maybe 20,000 people now he can get into ground.
Yeah.
And what he's done for 9 years is fantastic to keep him in Premier League, so the fans have seen Premier League football, because that's all they've done. They've never gone to try and win any of the cups. We must stay in the league. So football owners are looking for someone. Hang on a bit. Let's give him a chance,
Yeah.
I can see what he's done at Burnley.
Mm.
Not just keeping him in the league. The fans are coming in. The fans want to see it. We can sell it. We can sell it to whatever we need to sell it to globally. Because people forget that football is a global business now.
It certainly is in the Premier League, TC.
So
not so much the Championship, but the Premier League is a global game. Haaland looks as though he might be coming to the Premier League to play for Manchester City. But I did notice a little post on Facebook. Messi's been abandoned by PSG. Who would you rather have if you were Pep Guardiola? Who would you rather have, Haaland or Messi?
Well, I'm not going to answer the question for one reason and one reason only.
Yeah.
One's 33.
Yeah, I get that.
Right, and others 23, is he? 24?
Yeah, he's about 21, I know, yeah, he's a young kid.
Right. Mm. So if I'm going to buy a player now, it would be Haaland.
Yeah.
Right? Messi can do little things in the game without being able to do the great things he used to be able to do.
Yeah.
I'm not one for comparing. I would compare Messi and Ronaldo, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. And I love Ronaldo as much as I've loved any other footballer, but technically I think Messi was a little bit better.
Yeah, but who do you think would be the better fit for City? And I'm looking at this Haaland, and I think he's a great player. You know, he's scored goals wherever he's played, but coming to the Premier League, it's completely different. I've looked at lots of his goals that he's scored, and he's outrun the centre half. His strength, his you know, you